All right, welcome back, friends. This is another episode on MDawg at Elk Lake. So the last episode I recorded and uploaded was actually recorded live. So a lot of interactions on Twitch, which is always so fun to do it that way, but it also feels a little chaotic. So let's just kind of talk about where we are. During that stream, we hit level 11, which means we got the spinning reward we were after. I will show you that in just a minute. We fished at some different spots on the lake. But for right now, I'm just going to start here at our Old Faithful, right off the dock, 6593. This one will go a little farther. By the way, we're at 65 centimeter depth. Right now, I'm trying a 10 and a 12 hook, 10 with red worms, just to kind of do something different, I suppose. And then we've got a 12 here with crickets again, just to try something a little different. We're already getting a bite over here. I guess I'm hoping that maybe we will be at a hook size and bait composition that will allow us to do some spin fishing while float fishing. But if that ends up not being the case, because we're now at 18.3 float fishing, what I will probably do is take the second float out of the water. I do think it will be fairly slow because crickets by itself, in my opinion, is not as good as what you see people using often is crickets with something else. And that's where crickets seems to shine. Okay. Well, once again, fish on the line, huh? Boy, it's going to be a good fishing day. Can't you tell? The first two fish we've caught here on red worms. A gizzard shad trophy comes in. So now we had a bluegill and then a gizzard shad trophy. My goodness. Everyone is saying hello to you in chat, YouTube. All right, so let's try our nice setup. So the Arrow S60L, this rod and reel, the Siberia Hydra Smart 25S, which we upgraded to a thick 3.6 max drag. This is the setup that we got for hitting level 11 by spin fishing. So we actually caught a fish on spin, and look at this fish. Wow, that makes me want to fish with more crickets. In fact, maybe we just put crickets in so we can do some spin fishing. So by hitting level 11 with spin fishing, this rod and reel was the reward. This rod goes up to 5 kilos, so we're using 4.8 line. We're using 3.6 reel. So this is going to be one of those situations where, okay, it's going to be one of the situations where we're going to really feel the fish, I believe. Nice white bass. If we hit some good ones. So let's go ahead and cast this out, and let's get in the habit of spin fishing a little bit while we're watching the floats. And again, I think if we want to slow float down, all we need to do is put out a feeder on one of the floats instead of two floats, and that will help. But I'm just really enjoying the quality of fish that we're catching right now on float. So, all right, let's see what we've got here on spinning as well. Looks like a little white bass, I think. Yeah. All right, I love that. Oh, come on. It's just too good, you know. It is just too good right now. So I'm gonna I'm gonna make a couple changes. Unfortunately, this will, I think, slow down how good of fishing we're doing. But let's go crickets. We're gonna do kind of in this same spot. So we know if we get a bite um, on our float, it's with crickets, and it has a chance of being one of those red ears. So that will kind of be exciting. Now, what do we want to put on our feeder? Maybe size 4. Let's go right back to red worms, since we can now dig red worms. And I'm just going to do a little 12 clip here. Throw that in. Try to catch this fish on crickets. We're seeing some nice fish off crickets. That's a white bass. Okay, I'm really liking this. Now, if we can just maybe every 3 or 4 minutes, maybe get a bite on feeder too, we're going to be cooking. But I definitely want to, wow, that went underwater immediately. By the way, okay. I definitely want to keep spin fishing because at elk, personally, I think spin fishing is a lot of fun. We don't want to throw the float that far away because I can't see it without zooming. Wait, what am I using here? This is a spinner bait. I actually do think this is the way we want to use the spinner bait though. We want to do long pauses in between the times that we reel. We're imagining as if we are getting jig step, but we do not get jig step with this lure, I don't believe. And again, we're continuing to see some nice little fish here. Oh, fishing with a spoon is now available. Love to see that. I don't want it to be that far away. Let's try a 50% cast and see where it lands. Okay, that's probably a little close. Let's do a 60% cast. That's perfect. Now that is interesting that we can now use a spoon, right? We'll have to think about, is there any spoons that we want to try out here at Elk? It's a nice little warmouth. All right, so that hook might be a little big on feeder. I mean, I know feeder is slower anyway, but we might be pushing it too much with the hook size. Let's wait till we catch another fish on float. And then I think we'll go look at the tackle store for a minute. Come on, just let me pick it up. Thank you, thank you. All right, what species is it? A gizzard shad. All right, so let's reel this in and see. Ooh, wow. Well, that's kind of nice. That was a nice amount of time. Now we're going to get a fish on feeder. I know that the quality of fish is so nice on float, as evidenced by the literal second fish we caught was a gizzard shad trophy. But it is tempting to just put a couple feeders out, and it'll increase the bite rate a little bit if we had 2 feeders instead of one. All right, there's a warmouth. Um, and then just sit here and spin fish. We would definitely level up our spin fishing a little faster because we wouldn't be as distracted by all of the the incredible bite rate of float fishing, right? All right, I'm gonna make a quick trip down to the cafe here because just make sure nothing's rolling off that we could get now or close to. All right, we could get enough of those. We likely will get enough bluegill. Um, and yeah, we might do warmouth, but nothing is imminent. What are we at silver wise right now? We're at 56. So we have a chance to double our money right now. We sell our fish. Before I do that, let's look and see. Do we have any spoons currently? We do not. And it's always important to be reminded, okay, our test goes up to 10.5. So even as we're looking at lures and spoons, nothing over 10.5. So the icon is definitely an option. I like that spoon. And you also have the icon slim, which could be good. The icon fat gets too big for this setup. The Heaven Creek Hypnotic. This is a very good lure. Probably would be my favorite of the ones we've looked at so far. And there are a lot of good options. This is just a very solid spoon. It comes in both the 7 gram, but also the 20 gram. And this is like at Corey and Volkov and other places, you'll see those performing quite well at times. Okay, so the Heavens Creek Slim Shot pushes us right up to the maximum of our test at 15. I unfortunately don't have a lot of experience with those. Some of these older spoons have just been around for so long. All right, this is a newer one. These are going to work really well. The Volkov spoons could be worth trying those. And the reason why they're expensive is they come actually with, the hooks are just okay. Maybe it's just expensive because they're newer. This is another very good spoon. I like the Vicos probably even more than the Heavens Creek Hypnotics that I was just telling you about. So again, this might be my favorite of the ones we've looked at so far, not counting these Volkov. Those are just very strong. But if you look at the Volkov, you got 3.5 and you also have 4 grams, slightly different design, slightly bigger. I'd probably actually go with those first. These are also very good for a different shape, 3 gram. These are all just very nice spoons that they added. This is still within our range. So we've got the Vico 14 gram and we've got the Vico 8 gram. Would be interesting to try both. Volkov 9 gram still fits within our test. And then here's Volkov getting up to 12 gram. Again, still within our test. These are very small, type 3 Volkov lures. They introduced so many new lures when they brought out those Volkovs. All right, these are some nice ones as well. I forget how many crazy good spoons they have put in the game now. Now, this one is actually just over our test. So unless you switched out a smaller hook or a lighter hook, then you could try to get it down. Now, the Hunter 2s we can use. They're 13 gram. If you had to choose one spoon, you're only going to use one spoon in in this game. It would probably be the Hunter, and it would probably be the O1, the O2, and the O3. Um, and the size you would get actually is this one. But for this lake and for our setup, these would also be good. But again, look at the price of those. Those are very expensive, but they have very nice hooks on them. And that's it in terms of spoons that we could use at this lake. So very cool. We've got some good options. Um, it's funny, what I actually wanted to purchase was one of the what we're using here. So we've still got 2 colors we haven't purchased yet. The 5 and the 6. I guess we'll just go in order. Let's get the 5 today, and we'll go ahead and cast that out a couple times. See if we can catch anything. And maybe we have something on our feeder, you never know. Might as well just pick it up and double check. Nope, nothing yet. Let's get our cricket out there. Oh, are you serious? How often is that the case? That you catch a fish the moment you put the rod back down? There's something to it. If you haven't caught a fish in a while, just pick up your rods, set them back down. Sometimes that triggers the fish to realize like, oh, we need to get going here. Nice little white bass. I like what the redworms on the feeder is doing pretty well, and the crickets on the float has been fun as well. All right, so we're trying the new color here on our spinner baits. This is kind of the nice thing about spin fishing too. Now you have to accept the fact that um, fish using different lures. That's cool. You have to accept the fact that you may not just be able to level quite as quick or as efficient at some points in the game if you're committed to spin fishing only. But it is kind of nice because you're only having to worry about purchasing, stuff for spin fishing. And that means you want to build up your inventory of different lure options, different colors. You might want to start crafting your own lures. So even though for me, I enjoy doing kind of a little bit of everything in the game, and if I had to pick one method, it would probably be bottom and carp fishing. However, um, if you are just really into spin fishing, there are some advantages, sort of more of a focused approach. We could probably do a little faster retrieval speed, but I think this has worked pretty well overall with these types of lures. Oh, did we skip over the O3? I guess next time we can get the O3 if we want to. I wonder what color that even is. Because I think I have the 1, 2, and the 4 right now. Sorry, is that right? And then the 5, I guess? Well, I just was sure there was going to be a fish on. These red ears seem to like the crickets. That's cool. All right, I want to go look really fast. So 4.8, something right at or right under 4.8 would be ideal. I don't know why I haven't thought about this before now, but we should get a leader. I mean, they're in stock, so we could go 5.4, it'd be a little off, but it's close. 3.1, we can't use it yet. Or we could go down to 3.2. So I guess I'm going to go 5.4 so we don't lose strength on the deal. I don't know. I could be talked into 3.2 as well, though. Um, so 3.4 if we went with mono, or we could do right at 5 with mono. Oh, yeah, I wanted to see what Bates new, nope, lures new. Oh, yeah, we don't have the 3. All right, so now we just have one more to get. Let's try the 3. And let's put on the fluorocarbon leader. So we still have to be careful. The weakest link is not the leader, it's the line, which is not ideal, but you'd rather your line break than your reel or your rod. So it's still okay as long as we are holding down the fort with the weakest part of our setup is the line. The line is less than the rod. It's close though. I'm not used to dealing with things so close. When you get a little higher level and you get some breathing room, you wouldn't have it this close. You would clearly have the rod be a lot stronger so that even as the rod takes a little wear and tear and is not quite as strong as it was when you first got it, it's still strong enough to withstand your setup. Still think the white one, at least right now, seems to be working best. Let's go up to like a 20 retrieval speed. The float fishing has been pretty generous with us today. We have not missed a lot of bites, even though we're doing other things at the same time. All right, where are we at? We just unlocked spoon, and at 25% we get jigging, which is a big deal, especially at elk. By the way, I used the spiker on my main account, Spiker 218. Let's see if it's in stock because we might purchase that during this video after we sell fish or, at the next one. But I mean, this is just another little spinner. Okay, it's not in stock here. And you could definitely try other ones. I'm sure they would be good as well. But it is expensive. It's 50 silver. I was blown away at how the Spiker 18 performed, actually, on my main account yesterday. Well, I would say there's a pretty good chance we missed a bite there since the float was in a completely different position. I'm going to try doing 3 rotations. We're already, um, oh my goodness. I mean, that was a very small fish, so it's no big deal, but that's what I get for looking down like that. Once you have a fish on, you need to raise that rod up in the water. We're already retrieving a little faster at 20, and kind of want to try doing a little few more rotations. Is that a bluefish? A bluegill? That's a pretty fish. So we're gonna again try 3 rotations here. Nice pause. Ooh, bluegill. Man, oh man. All right. In an effort to red worm, 65. A little bit bigger hook, but I think this will still go pretty well. We're going to try to increase our activity here, hit a couple cafe orders, and see if, love these red ears, see if we can afford to get that spiker if we can find it somewhere. Now I'm expecting these red worms to be a pretty good bite rate. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is do even smaller hook and go regular worm so that maybe we'll really, oops, maybe we'll really hit a nice bite rate. Red ear, love it. All right, so like a 14, which one's cheaper? Can't remember which one's the worst hook. They're both terrible. All right, let's change this to regular worms. And let's see if we can get any better performance out of a 10 hook. And let's cast this out here a little bit so it'll hopefully catch a fish pretty fast. All right, so we're gonna try to try to expedite this a little bit of catching a few fish, bite rate. Um, that way, next time we can maybe use the spiker. I was just thinking about, oh, that spiker did so well for me. Why don't we see if I can recreate that on this account? Because if I can, the the amount of like the bite rate that we were catching fish on it would really help us level up spin fishing a little faster. And it would be fishing from a new spot, which would be fun. So we will see. Well, it is raining. So far in my experience, at least the type of fishing we've been doing, it seems like things slow down a little bit in the rain at Elk. Has that been y'all's experience? There's only so much float fishing I can take in a row. I mean, it's so good here, but it's just not my like natural favorite. And so, like right now, I'm getting impatient because I've just been, I've had my fill. That's enough float fishing for one day. Look how fast that went under. Now that we've got worms on there. So this will mean the quality won't be quite as good potentially. We've got regular worms and slightly smaller hooks, but the bite rate should be pretty good. Uh-oh, it's raining hard. Oh my goodness, can't do it. That's a big bluegill. I think there's a fish at the cricket right now. If I'm seeing it correctly, but I may be wrong. Yeah, it looks like there is. Glad you can't see my face right now. All right, it is nighttime. Things will slow down anyway. Um, oof, warmouth. All right, let's see if we can catch one more fish. Oh, we should have gone to red and black. Well, if we don't catch one here, we'll switch to red and black. I'm gonna go back to one rotation, I think, because I'm doing even faster speed. Maximum total weight fish caught per day. That was awesome. All right, one more cast. Okay. What in the world? I have no idea what we're getting into here. I don't know if we're going to be able to. This fish might be gone. This has just got to be some sort of bass, and we just don't have the setup for it, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we're a long way from getting spooled, and I'm trying to drive it back to the right by aiming left here. If it goes right, we're kind of okay. If it goes left, we can walk it down some. Look at our rules. I mean, our reel is just burning up right now. Oof, did not mean to lock that up. So all we can do is let this thing run, hope that it gets tired, and maybe we can pull it in. What a final fish to catch here. I shouldn't say to catch, I've jinxed it. What a final fish to, oh, did you hear it jump? Well, it did go the direction we wanted it to. I don't even know if it can spool us in that direction, but even in that direction, I'm going to have to turn to it and start walking it down here shortly. Well, it's just kind of straight across, isn't it? I don't know if I need to do this, but I'm going to. I'm going to. I have no experience chasing down fish at Elk Lake to this point, so this is a new one for me. I'm not sure about how much farther it could have run. We might have been okay, and I might actually make things worse by coming over here, because then he might go in another direction that we can't get to as quickly. But so just as you see, I'm trying to keep some tension even as I'm moving. Now, if we were in a boat, we could set the rod down in the rod holder and actually go after it a little bit. So we're actually close to the fish right now. So I'm going to try to go past it so that it hopefully stays in this corner back here. If I can get ahead of it. We just don't want it going out into the wide open. I think it's probably just going to trade places with us. I mean, it's just going to head to the side that we just came from. And we're still going to have to deal with the fact of not knowing can it spool us or not by heading to the other shore. But at least we kind of see the angle. We know where we are. We kind of know where it is. And maybe it'll stay back in there. I don't know. The fish naturally tends to want to swim away from you. Oh, it jumped again. I just can't see it. But so, if you kind of put yourself in position where swimming away from you is where you want the fish to be, that's at least generally the idea. Okay. So we've been at this approximately probably 6 or 7 minutes only, but it feels like a lot longer. And of course, at this point, I really want to see what it is. And I don't know how like sturdy, reliable these hooks are. Oh, why is it red, by the way? So this is basically like, I don't know, somewhere between 3.6 and 4.8 capacity of force of pull. And as he starts to get tired, we'll start to have more impact on the situation. Up until this point, we've had almost no impact. I'd say we put this red and black one on at the right time. I mean, we had both nighttime coming, setting in, and overcast. It just felt like a darker color was the way to go. And then, boom, we got lucky with a nice hit here. Now let's see if we can actually catch it, or can we only get it on the line? We're starting to have a little more impact. Now, I've not really picked a spot here where we can see the fish super well, but when it starts coming in like this, we're just going to keep pulling and hope that he doesn't get another big turn of the head. He may not have enough strength to turn away from us at this point. He might be tired enough that we can just pull him, whatever he is, just straight in here. He's getting awfully close. I don't think he's going to have another run in him unless I mess up something here. Oh, I could be wrong. Yep, here he comes. What have we caught here? Cannot wait to see. Is it just a larger species of bass or something, and we call it a decent, a little small to medium size, or is it a small species and we call it a really big version of it? That looks like well, I don't want to say in case I'm wrong. Yes, that is what I'm talking about. Wow. So that's what a 2.7 largemouth bass fight looks like on a little 3.6 to 4.8 strength setup. Oh, that was nice. Man, oh man, that was nice. And that's the nice thing about these lures, which I really like them, this smaller size, is that for the most part you're going to catch fish that you can just pull up immediately. But every once in a while, the game lets you hit one of the more powerful bass, and you get to go on the fight of your life, which was a lot of fun. That was cool. All right, let's check in at the cafe, and all right, let's just do this for science. So if I sold these six for 11 silver, it goes from 207 to 453. 207 to 453. Bluegill by weight, 207 453. Yes. So the cafe order is worth 2 silver more than it would be to just straight up sell them. So not as good of a deal as you're normally getting with the cafe, but we just didn't have a bunch of small ones. And it's probably the same thing here. We're having to include a couple of decent size, but I'm sure it's better to do the cafe. Now let's see how much we made here. Let's go by price. Oh, look at that largemouth bass, worth more than the gizzard shad trophy by almost 7 silver. But that caused our total silver amount to jump way up. With cafe orders, we're over 150 silver for this little session, and that is very cool. Now, I'm going to be so sad if we can't find that spiker for the next episode, but that may just be the reality of being level. Oh, we're 12 now, so technically we could check like Old Berg or something, which is it's more expensive there, and they don't have the best stock anyway. Oh, here it is. It's actually at Mosquito, Spiker 218. So we can, sure enough, we can test that out. I can show you that spot was talking about on the next episode. Okay, so that will do it. Thank you for watching as always.